It's a lovely, lovely Saturday night here on LSRTV, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the virtual Lernerville Speedway. Hello, and welcome one and all to race number 4 of the WSDCA COVID-19 Invitational. I'm Nolan Rambo, bringing you coverage for tonight's race with Cody Wooten downstairs in the producer's chair. Right now, qualifying is just getting underway, and we are set to go racing for tonight's race, of course, with the Dirt Midgets for tonight's event. Current track conditions down there, it's looking about 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the air, with 53 degrees Fahrenheit down on the track, closing in at about 7:46 p.m. in Sim local time. We're looking to be set for 4 10-lap heats today, where the top 4 will advance through to the feature race today, followed up by a consolation race for 12 laps, where another 4 will advance to make up what will be a 20-car field for tonight's 40-lap feature event. As I said, qualifying is currently underway. Cars are already on the course and putting in their first hot laps of the time. So it's going to be one of those cases now where we got to try to see just who will come out on top. Currently, Josh Young sits on top of the timing pylons with a 16:3:45. Ryan Diotti in second place with that 16:4:28, but he's going to get topped by Sean Jones, who's going to go through with a 16:3:59 and immediately spins it off the track. Of course, one of the interesting things about Lernerville Speedway, no wall around the outside of the racetrack. It is, of course, very open, as you can see. So that's one thing these drivers have to watch when they're running around the top side of the racetrack to make sure that they're not having some struggles trying to find their way over the side of that berm and hopefully not going into the grass beyond. Just about everybody is about set to go racing for tonight. A lot of drivers have already finished up their laps. Some drivers are still out there on the track, and others have already thrown in the towel. Of course, these guys do get 4 laps to make an effort to qualify. Of course, with some drivers on the track, we'll have to see what they can be able to make of it. I know Mark A. Hansen is just on his final lap now, currently down on the back straightaway. He is currently sitting about 8th or 9th place down on the grid with a 16:4:99. He's going to cross over onto the checkered flag and puts himself 3rd place on the timing boards with a 16:4:20. Still, though, Young and Jones still have that front row locked up, but only about 6 thousandths of a second. They're about separating your top 2 in the field. So, and only 4 thousandths of a second actually separated Hansen and Mr. Michael Grenner, a.k.a. Spank, as I've been told to call him. So 16:4:20 to 16:4:24. So with this in mind, a lot of times have come on in. The slowest of those being from Toby Brown with a 17:7:86. So about a 1.5-second difference from first place all the way down to last place on the grid. So it's going to be a very interesting feature, to say the least. Of course, we're having these drivers split up into 4 different heat races tonight, each one. I'm thinking it's going to probably be about 7 drivers in each of them, so we'll have to see just how Ironstein will, split them up, of course, which is based on the qualifying results. So first place in heat number 1 will start pole in heat number 1. Second place will be pole for heat 2. Third place heat for pole for heat 3. And 4th place is going to be pole for heat number 4. And 5th place will be second for heat number 1, and so on and so forth all the way down through the order. Less than 1 minute, just under 45 seconds left in this qualifying session. It does look like at this time, everybody except a few drivers have gone through. Some drivers have elected to, not actually start their laps at all, interestingly enough. So it'll be interesting to see what they'll be able to make. Of course, we do have those live admins who have announced that they are going to be handling cautions manually. So things are looking to be handled manually for tonight's race. So something that you don't see terribly often. We round closer, though, to 8 o'clock in the evening, which will likely be when we start tonight's race. Just 5 seconds left. It's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is it. Checkered flag is out on this one and only qualifying session. And with this, let's head on down to your starting grid for the first of 4 heats tonight. And And it is going to look to be Josh Young who will be starting on the pole for this first heat, with Ryan Winter in second place, Ryan Plexico in third, with Darren Brown rounding off row number 2. Michael Curry is going to be starting in 5th place, with Kobe Kearns in 6th place. Tyler Blasher and Buddy Mills Jr. going to be rounding off this 8-car field. Looks like it will be 8 cars for all heats. Actually, 2 of the heats will be with 8 cars. The other 2 are interestingly only going to have 7 each. So, interesting format, but we'll wait to see what this will do. It looks like all 8 drivers have gridded up 2 pacing laps for these dirt midgets before we get set to go racing. And Buddy Mills Jr. looks like he has actually had some kind of a technical issue. That car hooked dead left upon exiting the pits, and well, he is back to the lane. So Buddy Mills Jr., his night is going to come to a very unfortunate end, to say the least. So some misfortune there, and it's going to be looking like it'll be 7 cars that will be taking the field tonight. So we see the iRacing pace truck currently rounding through the final corner. One more lap to go for pacing. Of course, these dirt midgets, they can be quite squirrely, and we've seen in the past what can happen. Of course, midgets most famously known for the Chili Bowl Nationals, where these cars really do truly reign on that small stadium circuit. But this is definitely not the Chili Bowl. It is Lernerville Speedway, a very, very high-speed track in comparison to the Chili Bowl. Pace truck going to look right and go over the berm to the lane. It is now all in the hands of your pole sitter, Josh Young. Green flag flies. We're racing for the first time tonight. A beautiful jump there from Josh Young to get off the line. He's already clear and green, looking 3 abreast behind. So Ryan Winter going to currently be in second place, trying to run that outside line. He's going to drop back to third, picks up second around that outside, right up against the edge of the berm, and side by side behind him, caught that behind him. 1 car, 2 cars up and over. Kobe Kearns against the wall. Tyler Blasher rolling over as well. Everybody's still set and going. No caution in these heat races. Almost bumping again for second now as they dive it off into turn number 3 for the second time tonight. Ryan Plexico trying to make something work along the inside, but Ryan Winter with the run around the outside, throwing it deep into the corner. And you can see in 4th place Michael Curry now on the inside, and with 5th place Darren Brown so far back. It's gonna be all them. These guys, oh, big contact between Winter and Michael Curry. Curry is over the berm, and he's up and over. So Michael Curry, just when we were thinking he was secure, very much not anymore. He is going to be out of heat number 1 very early on in this race. That will promote Darren Brown up into the final transfer spot. That is one of the hazards of running right up against that berm. When you saw a little bit of a contact, it sent him up and over. So it's one of those hazards of a track like this. Ryan Winter, he's teasing with fate at this point with how close he runs to the top side of that track, right where that transition is, almost getting 1 wheel, that right rear up and over. So for now, things are looking very much secure. Winter now throws it off into the corner, trying to make something work on Ryan Plexico, but right now Plexico is looking very, very secure on that inside line. Winter can carry the speed around the outside, but he just doesn't have the momentum he needs to get it done. Only 4 laps to go for your first series of the night. Josh Young still leading this racing, has led every lap so far, and right now things are very much single file down throughout your entire field with 2 cars unfortunately having unfortunate ends of their races. Battle is still on for second though. Plexico having to yield now to Winter. Winter's able to pull that move off of turn number 4 to get it done, and now he is cleared around the outside. So Ryan Winter has just picked up second place away from Mr. Plexico. And of course, this is setting. Oh, got 1 car actually on the inside line. Tyler Blasher having some more difficulties, and he lost that all on his own off of the corner. So unfortunate news for him as well. Going to be rounded now for the white flag, looking for this time Josh Young. Going to be the one to take the white flag this time, and Ryan Winter, absolutely no competition whatsoever. Single filed out through the entire field. Everybody just so spread out for now. Absolutely nothing to worry about. So as we come off of turn number 4, it is going to be Josh Young to come away with the victory for heat number 1. Ryan Winter will pick up second place with Ryan Plexico in third. Darren Brown rounds off your final transfer spot in 4th place. Got Kobe Kearns in 5th place. Tyler Blasher in 6th place. Michael Curry down in 7th, and Buddy Mills Jr. not taking to the grid tonight. So heat 1 in the books already. Let us move on to heat number 2 for the night, and this time it is Sean Jones who is going to be starting on the lane, with Cody Spencer behind him in second, or beside him in second place, Justin Winter and Ren Johnson in row number 2, with Dennis Gilcrease and Darian Balestrini in 5th and 6th. Rounded off this 8-car field, it is Michael Kibler and Troy Stevenson. So 10 laps in the books and 4 drivers to the A main. The others are going to a Consolation B main, where again the top 4 from that B main will also advance. So it's going to be a very tight race as well. So we saw some incidents very early on, unfortunately. We're hoping that maybe we'll have a little bit more luck here for our second heat race of the night. Waiting on just one driver to grid up now, waiting on Stevenson. It looks like he did not set a qualifying lap. He was one of 3. I believe that actually might be one of the race officials actually that we're waiting on. So one of those things that can happen. Looks like some drivers are in gear. We are going to get off and rolling for the first of, again, 2 formation laps here in these midgets. And one car, and Sumtro's getting off the lane. It looks like Dennis Gilcrease a little bit slow to get his car rolling, but they are all safe and sound off of the lane. Gonna have to do a little bit of to catch on up. As you can see, one of those drivers up there having a little bit of fun with the pace truck. I was seeing Cody Spencer pulling right alongside that iRacing official pace truck. So a little bit of fun, never hurt anybody down on the formation laps, I wouldn't think. The top 4 are confirmed to be into the heat already, into the main event, so that is where they're trying to sit. So going to be looking out for Dennis Gilcrease down in 5th place. He'll likely be trying to make something work in the early stages of this heat race. Of course, we've seen that outside line already. We've seen people be able to pull lines around that outside line, some sliders as well. So we really have to look out for row number 3 to see if they'll be doing anything funky here in the opening laps of the race. Pace truck going to make the dive down the pit road. Sean Jones going to be the one to maintain them. He's off and away. Green flag is on already. One car sideways and up and over. Justin Winter from 3rd place is out of the heat already. Upside down on the front straightaway. Dennis Gilcrease was caught up in that as well, but he is safe and sound for now. So Balestrini, a free transfer spot for him, while Ren Johnson continues to try to work that outside line, trying to make something work on Cody Spencer, who's really hugging the inside. Race leader is up and over on the berm. Sean Jones up, and can he get that car to control? In fact, he will, up over the berm, and now he's back onto the racing surface, but now he's on the bubble in that final transfer spot. So misfortune for Jones as well. One other car coming back out of the pits, Troy Stevenson joining the racing surface after the heat has begun. So it seems like maybe some issues then for Stevenson, who has just left pit lane and is now on the racing surface. So again, some dramas in the early stages of these heats have allowed for this field to be really, really spread out. So Balestrini side by side now with Sean Jones as they enter turn 1, nearly making contact. But Jones able to hold on around the outside line. He will be picking up 3rd place this lap. That will put Darian Balestrini right on the bubble, but so long as Balestrini can keep that car pointed in the right direction, he does not have to worry about Dennis Gilcrease at all. Cody Spencer halfway now through heat number 2, really hugging the grass as they go through 1 and 2. So a couple of drivers really liking that bottom line, some other drivers liking the top, and it seems like Cody Spencer is really one of those drivers that really loves to hug that bottom lane, and it seems to be working for him because he is pulling those steady gaps over this field. The gap is 1.8 seconds, so we gained a solid 4/10 on this field in just that last lap alone. So good job on Spencer to be able to pull that gap early on. Johnson run to the high side now, trying to find the speed, and it looks like he's going to have Sean Jones trying to run it down to the outside line as well. They're going to get really close, and now they're both down to the inside in turns 1 and 2. Johnson sliding way up, though. It'll be in a prime position to maybe makes it down to the 3 and 4. But here comes Jones up the inside for second, but he can't make it work. Johnson with the momentum on the outside line, still side by side through turns 1 and 2. Johnson trying to pull the outside line with Jones still on defensive around the inside. Could be coming around. White flag for the Heat this time by. One more lap for Johnson to try to hang on around that outside line. Jones still door to door as they enter through 1 and 2 again. So Jones hugging that inside line, trying to find whatever momentum he can have work. But meanwhile, off turn number 4, Cody Spencer going to come around with a very easy Heat 2 victory. And Jones manages to just barely edge out Red Johnson at the line for second place. Darian Belstrini down in 4th place with Dennis Gilcrease 5th place. Michael Kembler in 16th. Troy Stevenson rounds the field off in 7th, and 10 laps down is going to be Justin Winter. Moving straight ahead then to the third heat of the night. This time it's going to be Mark A. Hansen who will start on the pole with Brandon Wiley in 2nd place. Bailey Jones and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but Camden Robustly in 4th place with Richie Luker in 5th. Jeremy Blackshear in 6th place with Anthony Steffensmeyer in 7th place. So 7-car field for heat race number 3, and already they are off on their formation laps. So it's been a very, very intense event so far with 4, shall we say, action-packed heat races. There has been so much to talk about, so much drama that has taken place with your leader almost losing out, and of course managed to edge out 2nd place just at the heat's conclusion. So 2 heats in the books. We are now halfway through this through your heat races at least, so going to be closing in on heat number 3. This event just absolutely flying by. The midgets, they are small, but they are definitely quick. I think quick is a little bit of an understatement. So it's going to be one of those cases, another fast-paced action heat. Will they be close, or will we see the trend of, again, a couple cars get collected and then get spun around? Pace truck is off in the hands of Mark Hansen. Gets on the throttle. We are green. Brandon Wiley around the outside. He's going to lose on 2nd place already and shuts the back end. And he's going to be right up and into the traffic as well. So Brandon Wiley, drama from 2nd place, and Camden Robustly collected from 4th place as well. So 2 drivers that were secure, not anymore. That is allowed. Richie Luker and Anthony Steffensmeyer up into 3rd and 4th place. And now Bailey Jones trying the outside line, trying to maybe find some ground on Mark Hansen. Can he try to maybe pull the outside to get that momentum to maybe go for a heat win? Still definitely closer to what we've seen all race long. We'll have to see if this will be able to stay as close as, or if we'll have yet more drama, because usually the average incidence has been about 2 thereabouts for the heat races thus far in tonight's event. Jones still trying to find some kind of momentum around Mark Hansen. Hansen had a little bit of a bad exit line, so both drivers throwing it into 3 and 4. Hansen real sideways on the inside, but Jones able to carry a lot more momentum around that outside line. So still, people are trying to find whatever lines they can to make it work. Jones is still trying to find his way through. I believe this is going to be competing to see who can start 3rd place in the main event tonight. So this would be crucial for Jones to try to work his way up there and find his way to the front as soon as he possibly can. So meanwhile, though, they were side by side for a moment in the background with Andy Steffensmeyer losing out on one of those spots to Brandon Wiley. So Wiley has promoted himself back up into a transfer spot. So crashed out in just the first corner, and now he is back up into the transfer spot, but certainly not safe quite yet. Wiley still having to try to hold on Steffensmeyer, but with the wet lines that Steffensmeyer's taking, just really not the optimal lines, he's going to have an easy time going about doing it. So I think that it's what that 12 car is going to need to find some kind of a different line who's going to have any hope on reeling in that 33 machine. For now, though, unlike the other 2 heats, all drivers still running in heat race number 3, albeit spread around the racetrack, but still close together. Well, not close together necessarily, but all together on the track nonetheless, which is of course what you want to see. You never want to see drivers getting caught up in incidents in heat races. That is exactly what we have not been seeing in this. We've seen drivers caught up in incidents, but certainly not having to throw in the towel. Mark Hansen takes the white flag now for heat number 3. So already taking the laps away once again. So Mark Hansen gonna be once again throwing his machine through 3 and 4. He is going to now come across the start finish line to end it off. So Mark Hansen victory in heat number 3. Bailey Jones down in second place. Richie Luker will maintain third place, with Brandon Wiley taking the final transfer spot home in 4th. Camden robustly in 5th place. And with Anthony Steffensmeyer in 6th place, and rounding off that 7-car field was Jeremy Blackshear. Now, once more, starting grid for this time, heat number 4. Again, it is another 7-car field here for this another 10-lap race. So it's going to be Mr. Spanky starting on pole position, with Cody Peters down in 2nd place. Trevor Fitz and Chase Osborne rounding off row number 2, with Michael Letters and Holly Mim in row number 3, and it'll be Xander Morrison to round them off in 7th place as they set out on their pace laps. And now it is time once again to wait as the official iRacing safety truck leads them around this 0.4 of a mile circuit. Not quite sure what you would call that. We're now approaching 8:30 in sim time. The track still hovering at about 52 degrees Fahrenheit, 64 degrees in the air. Winds currently blowing north at about 2 miles an hour, so very, very calm winds tonight, which is of course very, very good for these light-powered dirt midgets. One lap to go before we go green flag racing. So we are going to be just waiting for this one to go, and I've just heard for word that apparently Bailey Jones is actually driving as Cody Majors, so a little bit of a entry list error on my end. So Bailey Jones, correction to that, is going to be Cody Majors. Well, there you go. So pace truck once again off for the final heat race of the night. Green flag is out, and it's a great jump there from Spanky, who's already clear into turn number 1. Cody Peters looking to be side by side for 2nd place, and this time we are safe and sound through turn number 1 and 2. So looks like for once we're going to get through a heat race without having any drivers facing the wrong way on the track. But battle is on for the lead as Peters taking the outside away from Spanky as they run down to turns 1 and 2, and Spanky getting all sorts of out of shape down there for the heat lead. And Peters still trying to find his way around that outside line. They're going to be side by side for the lead again here off of turn number 4. Spanky still trying to find his way around that inside line, not having the pace he needs to around that inside to make it work. So still trying to get inside. So if he can find something off of that inside, then sure, why not go for it? But right now the momentum is all on the outside as Peters continues to throw his car in right at the edge of the berm, and nearly flying over the edge of it as well. So risky to run that close right up in the dirty air, in the dirty track, throwing dust up everywhere. Still side by side, and now finally Cody Peters excuse me, clears Spanky down into turn number 1, and we will have one of your first lead changes actually of the night. Spanky, though, clearly not having that. He's going to throw it into the corner. Just cannot find the momentum he needs, so should probably maybe try the outside line, follow the line that Peters has. Maybe then you can try to find your way up there. Holly Mim has encountered issues and is off the track now a couple laps down. So Holly Mims for some unfortunate difficulties for them early on in this race. And Peters still with an absolutely fantastic pass around the outside. That took quite a few laps there on Spanky, but he is definitely safe in the lead. And now both Spanky and Peters running away with this one here. battle could potentially be on for the transfer spot if they can close it on in. Xander Morrison currently not safe, and Trevor Fitz is the driver that he is trying to take away. Fitz currently sitting right on the bubble for the transfer spot, but Morrison is just losing more and more time. Ahead of them, Chase Osborne on that final podium step for heat race number 4. Just 2 laps to go already for what will be the final proper heat race tonight, as Peters once again takes that outside line. So a lot of drivers seem to like that outside line in 3 and 4 a particular amount. White flag in the air this time for the 4th heat race of the night. And it'll be Peters through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Nothing that Spanking can do about it. He's going to have to just sit back and watch as Peters rounds 3 and 4, and this is it. Cody Peters takes the victory for heat race number 4. Michael Grenner down in 2nd place. Osborne dragging it out to the line. He's going to pick up 3rd with Trevor Fitz, the final transfer spot, in 4th. Xander Morrison in 5th. Michael Leathers in 6th with, of course, Holly Mim rounding off the 7-car field, a considerable number of laps down. Now, though, we're actually going to have a 5th heat race, so I do beg your pardon. 5 heat races for tonight, it would seem, so a little bit more than I was actually probably expecting. So, well, starting with heat race number 5, then why not? So Ryan Diotti started off on pole position. Ryan Martinez in 2nd place. Nick Velasquez in 3rd place with Danny Davis down in 4th. Danny Davis, that is a very easy name to say. Sean Whitney in 5th with Toby Brown in 6th. Frederick Schneider down in 7th place to round off the 7th car field, where is going to be the final, what this time should be the final heat race of the night. So once again, setting off on the pacing laps, and well, we're getting ready to set to go for another one of these very high-paced 10-lap sprints. Diotti going to be the one in control of this field when they come back around through 3 and 4 this next time by. Still got 1 lap to go behind that iRacing official pace truck. Ryan Martinez going to be down in 2nd place. The real looker could be Sean Whitney in 5th. We've seen, 5th place and 6th potentially be aggressive, and oftentimes one of those two tends to come away with a transfer spot over one of the top 4, because usually the top 4 are finding themselves in issues in 3 of 4 heats tonight. We'll have to see if that trend will continue into heat number 5, or will it have been broken by heat number 4. So Toby Brown could be on the outside in 6th place. Sean Whitney might just be out of luck, and it will be Mr. Ryan Diotti taking the lead as we once again come back to the green flag, and Nick Velasquez immediately picking up 2nd place around the inside, getting a great jump over there on Ryan Martinez, who just might have been caught napping at the start of the heat. He is already down to 3rd and might be looking to lose 4th place as well. Still clean and green throughout this one. Battle on for the lead of the heat race as well, and contact behind them, and Toby Brown has been shunted around by, I think it was the 34 car Danny Davis that got into him as the end of turn number 1. That spun Toby Brown around a little bit, but he's back onto it, and now he is all the way down to last place in the heat race, so that is not good for Brown. He's still losing time. One car off on the berm in turn number 1. It's Ryan Martinez from 3rd place, who has just lost the transfer spot. This is the trend that we were saying might take place, and sure enough, it is continuing here tonight. Danny Davis will pick up that final transfer spot in heat race number 5. This is going to be a very, very intense fight now as they continue to round their way through this 0.4 of a mile circuit, still trying to find their way up through this field, as once again, single filed out and pretty spread out for a good portion of the field throughout this one. Diotti sitting with a very, very comfortable lead right now. Well over a 1.5 seconds at the time. 1.613 was the gap at the line, and this has allowed him to get just such a big run, and it's really just showing that the leaders of these heats can just absolutely run away with it. We've seen that quite often. We're definitely seeing that here. It looks like Toby Brown might have had another issue, and in fact he has. Oh, he had a big as he went way off. He actually hit the wall on front straightaway and then spun off in the berm and nearly flipped up and over. Thankfully did it, but that would not put Toby Brown 1 lap down in this heat race, and not what he wanted to have happen to him at all. Very, very unfortunate for him tonight. So Diotti still pulling the outside line, and now look at that gap. Absolutely massive gap over Nick Velasquez down in second place. We take the two to go sign 2.7 seconds. That is the biggest margin we've seen all race. So another major issue, it seems, is of course when you get these cars that just tend to absolutely run away with it. It can be detrimental to the guys down in second place, and it's really now a fight for that fourth place, which is still on, by the way. Ryan Martinez trying to find some way around Danny Davis, but not able to make it work. But meanwhile, rounding out the final corner, it is of course going to be Ryan Giotti to take the win, with Nick Velasquez in second place, Sean Whitney third, Danny Davis in fourth, Ryan Martinez happy to settle for fifth place, Frederick Schneider in sixth, with Toby Brown down in seventh place to round off the fifth and final heat race of the night. Well, now we just got one race left to go before your main event tonight. It is, of course, going to be the Consolation race. Again, the top four from this one are going to be advancing through to the main event. It'll be Chase Osborne to start on pole for the main event, for the Consolation race. Cody Peters down in second place with Mark Hansen in third, Brandon Wiley fourth, Darren Brown in fifth place, Nick Velasquez in sixth. Sean Jones will start it off in seventh, with Spanky in eighth. Ryan Giotti in ninth. Oh, sorry, I do beg your pardon. We are not in a consolation race. We are in a warm-up session, so this is my mistake. We are getting right away into this future event, it would look like. No, we aren't. I beg your pardon. I'm all sorts of backwards here. I was looking at the completely wrong thing. We are starting off with the Consolation race. So going through the proper starting order tonight. Kobe Kearns, Dennis Gilcrease, Cameron Robustely, Xander Morrison, Frederick Schneider, Tyler Blasher, Michael Kepler in seventh, with Anthony Steffenschmeier in eighth, Michael Leathers in ninth, Ryan Martinez in 10th, Michael Curry 11th, Troy Stevenson 12th, Jeremy Blackshear 13th, Holly Mim 14th, Toby Brown 15th, Buddy Mills Jr. and 16th did not take the grid, with Justin Winter rounding off the 17-car Consi race for tonight. Again, 12 laps, top four will be advancing through to the main event. Just half a lap now left to go before we go racing for the Consolation race to determine the final four cars that make it into the main event. Pace Truck will be the one to pull it down onto the lane, and Dennis Gilcrease trying to look for it, and already cars getting all sorts of action behind the one car sideways, as a matter of fact, 2, 3 cars sideways, and everybody seems to be stacking up. Big pile up, and the caution has just come out, and that is going to be a big mess. So caution flag out for what is about a 3-car, more than a 3-car pileup. Huge chunk. I would like to take a look at what happened down to turn 1. That was where he went big. Michael Kepler was ducking around the outside of one driver as we looked to a replay. Tried to go to the inside, and unfortunately for him, it just went all sorts of wrong, and just a huge stack up over there in turns 1 and 2. So first caution flag of the night coming out in the Consolation race. So a bit of a messy start, then, to say the very least. Not the start that we wanted to see for this 12-lap race, and well, hopefully they will be able to get things all sorted out and that we can get back to racing here shortly. So Kobe Kearns still with that race lead under the yellow flag, with Dennis Gilcrease in second place, Xander Morrison in third. Tyler Blasher will be rounding off the final transfer spot for now, because we are still under caution. Frederick Schneider rounds off your top 5, with Ryan Martinez in 6th, Anthony Steffenschmeier in 7th, Michael Leathers in 8th place, with Mr. Camden Robustely in 9th, Holly Mim down in 10th place. So A lot of some confusion, to say the very least, early on as well. So, well, some more confusion as well, and I do got to apologize to John Pipe, because Holly Mim is John Pipe, as it would say. So, some more cases of mistaken identity, it would seem, in this one. So, well, let's see. We've got Cody Majors driving under the alias of Bailey Jones, and, well, John Pipe being mistaken as Holly Mim. So, well, John Pipe with the one currently behind the wheel of Holly Mims, well, not Holly Mims, well, it's going to be the John Pipe anyway, in that number 05 machine, as it looks like we're about to get set to go back racing here. The lights are out on the official iRacing safety truck as we get set to go racing here today. Dennis Gilcrease is on the outside of Kobe Kearns. Not sure if he's quite supposed to be. The looks like they are going to be lined up semi-double file. Some drivers still thinking about it. They are going to be double file, though. Pace truck, once again, making that dive down to the lane. Let's try this one again. Kobe Kearns off and away to the lane, looking 3 wide behind them. One car sideways and stopped at the backstretch as well. It is Michael Kepler, who is upside down against the turn 4 barrier. No caution yet, but there's a big pile up as well in turn number 2. Now the caution comes out. And the incident to bring out the caution was when the number 9, if you can take a look back at that one now, it was the number 9, Tyler Blasher, coming to the restart. Came down across the line and actually made some contact, it would seem, with Anthony Steffensmeyer, who slid up the track, and that sent Tyler Blasher with some contact. He got into the 812 of Dennis Gilcrease, and they both spun right from the field, and it was just a stack up from there with a lot of drivers getting collected. So a bit of a messy consolation race, to say the very least. Haven't run half a lap under the green flag yet. So quite unfortunate to see that you know, quite a few cautions already in this consolation race. Not what we were hoping to see. When we go back green, though, we're only going to have, you know, maybe a 2 or a 1 lap dash here to end the consolation race before we get set for the main event. So with Kobe Kearns still your race leader, Xander Morrison still holds second place with Stefan Schmeier in third, and of course Robustly still in 4th place. We're gonna have to look out for Ryan Martinez down at 5th, is gonna be looking to pick up a spot. I know Michael Leathers will still be trying to search for a way down into the A main. Lights are still on that pace truck at this time. We would be going with a 2-lap shootout, assuming the lights are go out on the pace truck next time by. Currently rounding a lap number 9 of 12. Getting set to go racing once again, hopefully this next time we get through to the line. And there it is, the lights are out on the pace truck. The 1 lap to go signal has been given. Lining it up double file, so attempt number 3, well, 3rd time's the charm. It is again going to be 2 laps to go when we take the green flag once again. So Kobe Kearns, field once again in his control. So, well, strike 1, strike 2, hopefully strike 3 will be the one that will get us going for more than a lap. Otherwise, the team will be looking to end under caution. Kobe Kearns off and away, and already big checkup behind them. Cars sliding all over the place down front straightaway. Keep it together, guys, and looks like they're going to be there more or less. Cars sideways in the back, still green for now. All sorts of contact at the back, but working to keep their eyes up front in this fight for the transfer spot. Looking 3 wide now for the final transfer spot today. Morrison dropped back to 3rd, and he's going to have to drop back to 4th now. White flag is out for the consolation race, and all sorts of was more contact. A big pile in the back, an absolute send has sent John Pipe up and over. Meanwhile, though, through 3 and 4, Kobe Kearns going to be the one to come off the corner to win the consolation race. Camden Robustly picks up 2nd place with Ryan Martinez in 3rd, and picking it up in 4th place is going to be Michael Leathers to round it off. And now your field is set to go for the 40 lap main event tonight. So unfortunate for a lot of drivers who just had the nice end of a very, very physical consolation race, to say the very least. Not what we wanted to see, and well, a little bit of a 5-minute warm-up here before we go racing for this 40-lap feature. We're going to take a quick break, and well, we'll come back right before we go green.
They say everything is bigger. These guys down in Texas aren't messing around. This feature race will separate the boys from the men, the girls from the ladies. Can you handle racing 300 laps for $25,000? It's not as easy as you think. We don't stop to tow those too weak. We just push them out of the way. We don't run 20 laps. We run 300 each night. We don't care about what you and your boys have under the hood. Bring all you got. Don't be scared. Call my Cowboy Jack today to get signed up. It all goes down on October 2nd and 3rd in Mesquite, Texas, just outside of Dallas. Kenny Wallace is coming back this year to try again. You don't have excuses. Go to LoneStar600.com now.
Well, warm-up is over and done with, and we're set to go racing tonight for the 40-lap feature race. We're going to do a quick run through your starting grid for 24 drivers tonight. Josh Young and Cody Spencer are going to be starting it off in the first row with Mark Hansen and Cody Peters. Down in third and fourth, Ryan Diotti and Ryan Winter. The two Ryans locking out row number 3 with Shane Jones and Bailey Jones. So, well, let's see, we got the two Ryans locking out row 3 and the two Jones locking out row number 4. What kind of a coincidence is that? Spanky and Nick Velasquez down in 9th and 10th with Ryan Plexico and Ren Johnson in 11th and 12th. Richie Luker and Chase Osborne in 13th and 14th for row number 12. Row 13 with Sean Whitney and Darren Brown. Darian Balstrini in 17th with Brandon Wiley in 18th place. Trevor Fitz in 19th. Danny Davis in 20th place. Kobe Kearns in 21st with Camden Robustly in 22nd place. Ryan Martinez in 23rd. And rounding off the 24-car field for tonight, it is going to be Michael Leathers. So 24 drivers after 5 heat races and 1 consolation race. The heat races were more or less clean. The consolation race, not so much. That was a very, very physical consolation race. One of the most, shall we say, aggressive ones I've seen as a commentator in a very long time. So we're hoping that maybe things will have calmed down a little bit between then and now, and we can get a proper green flag run. In 40 laps, should go by the breeze. This whole, event so far is just absolutely flown by. 1 lap to go before we go green flag racing tonight, and it is going to be Josh Young who will have it in the hands of, well, that number 17 machine, but we go green flag racing tonight. down the back straight for the final time. Before we go green flag racing for this final heat race, pace truck pulls it off. Josh Young going to be the one to hold the field. Turn 3, turn 4, on the loud pedal, away we go. Green flag racing for the main event tonight, and already looking 3 abreast behind them. He slides out 4 wide. How about down to the turn number 1? And it's going to be Ryan Gianni who's going to have to try to pick up second place around the inside of Mark Hansen, who's trying to hang on around that top side. 3 wide behind them as well, so a lot of battles quickly going on throughout this race. A much cleaner start to the main event so far. 4 wide again, in contact behind. Spanky having a run-in with Sean Jones, and big hit from Sean Jones to the side of, I believe that was the number 4 machine, Ryan Winter. So things are looking very physical as Jones continues trying to push his way up the order, literally kicking doors open left and right. If there's not a gap, well, by golly, he's going to force a door open if he wants to. Fast-paced start to this heat, and already we have one car that was stopped at the inside of the racetrack, still green for now. Not quite sure who that was, but we are still going to be green. So with that in mind, we're going to continue to get this race underway, and it's still going to be a decent jump there from your pole setter Josh Young, who's continuing to try to hang on around that inside of Ryan Diatti. Diatti trying to pull that outside line like he did so much in his heat race. He's going to be around the outside now into turn number 1. Off of turn 2, they are going to be side by side through turn 3. Who's going to be the one to get it done, though? Diatti trying to hang on around the outside right by the berm. Can he complete it off turn 4? He will clear new leader Ryan Diatti for the main event tonight. Josh Young is going to have to force him to settle back for second. Might have tried to find a way up to the top side to make it work. Field now getting spread out. We're getting ready to settle in for the long haul here. And one car trying to float up the inside, Ryan Winter. Oh, and he gets shoved from behind. Sean Jones, another huge hit up the inside. So Sean Jones still clearly trying to find some way through. And, well, Diatti, the nickname Hitman, quite literally living up to that name here today. So, well, Ryan Hitman Diatti still running away with that lead just by a massive margin. Still green flag race despite some of the contact earlier on in this main event in the first 5 or so laps, but now things are looking a lot more settled down, so we are definitely set to go racing tonight to keep this thing going. And Sean Jones nearly running his way off of the berm over in turn number 2. So goodness gracious, a very exciting start to this race so far, and this has definitely been a thrilling main event to watch so far. Slider trying to throw left to right. Caution has just come out on the racetrack, and who was it to bring this one out? It happened over turn number 3, and yes, I found it. Richie Luker was the cause of the crash over down in turn number 3. Threw it up the inside of turn number 3 and got ran over by Sean Whitney, who spun him around. Both cars getting turned over in turns 3 and 4. So that is what brought out our first yellow flag of the night. So a pretty hard 2-car spin, and it looks like Ryan Martinez was actually collected by Whitney as Whitney was trying to get himself going back in a straight line. So bit of an embarrassing moment there for Sean Whitney to have that occur to him, but under caution for the first time in the feature race, just past the quarter-way point, about 10 laps down. It's going to be thereabouts 30 to 29 to go at the line, and well, Ryan Hitman Diatti still out in front. Behind him, Josh Young, no doubt, can be looking a little hungry for second place, with Mark Hansen third, Ryan Winter in 4th. Sean Jones with 5th place. Michael Spanky Grenner, Michael Grenner, aka Spanky, I don't want to get yelled at, in 6th place. Ryan Plexico down in 7th with Nick Velasquez in 8th. Bailey Jones in 9th with Brandon Wiley rounding out the top 10 for the race. So Brandon Wiley, one of those drivers that had a bit of a interesting slide in the midst of that, shall we say. Well, lights are already out on the pace car, so we are set to go. Green flag racing once again. It's going to be in the hands of Ryan Diatti, who is actually not lining up on that inside groove. He is electing to remain on the outside. Not quite sure what race control's call is going to be on that one. bit of an unorthodox starting position, shall we say, for Diotti, but nonetheless, it's going to happen. Green flag is away. We are off and ready to go. Looking 3-4 wide behind them, fanning out down the front straightaway. Winter trying to throw it to the inside. Behind them of Plexico. Plexico trying to get to the inside of that 37. They are looking for 4 wide of the corner. 4 wide again now. And Ryan Plexico forced off of the track there, but he's still back in it now, and they're all doing all sorts of contact behind him. They are spinning around. No doubt that will have to be a caution. 3-4 cars piled up in this one, and somehow we stayed green. Michael Lenz has gotten turned around, but things are still looking all safe and sound for now up front, so no caution for a pileup in turn number 3. And Josh Young trying to fight around the outside. He's going to get that move down. So Young dropped a few spots off of the restart. He's going to look over. Oh no, Josh Young! He's over the berm. He's going to lose a lot of spots here for Young. That is the exact wrong thing that he wanted to do. Still struggling to find a way back on there. He's about down to 17th place now. So disaster for Josh Young and his race. And all this wheel-to-wheel fighting behind them has allowed your race leader, Ryan Diotti, to absolutely blitz the field and just rock it away with the lead. Ryan Winter all over the back end, though. Mark Hansen trying to look 3 wide up the middle into turn number 1 with Spanky on the inside, trying to find something to work. Going to slide it back up, and Winter getting squeezed out, but still trying to find a way through to run him down. Hansen still trying to find a way on the outside, and now Winter throws at the inside, slide job up in front of Hansen. Hansen tries to come back, and he's forced to check it up. So beautiful slide job there from Ryan Winter being pulled on Mark Hansen. Hansen having to back out of that one to avoid running through the back of him, and that might have allowed Spanky to promote himself up into a podium position if he can make it work, and he will be able to make it work because Hansen is off the track on the outside of the berm. One of the hazards of running on the outside, he's got to really watch to make sure you don't run wide on the outside of the corner. Well, that has just happened to yet another driver from the top 5. Halfway, 20 down, 20 to go here at Lernerville Speedway, and things are definitely still looking to be picking up. It looks like your race leader has already caught lap traffic, so Ryan Diotti just finding his way around. Kobe Kearns down in last place on the track right now. Not last place in the race, but still last place for cars on track. So it's unfortunate for Kobe Kearns, who clearly not having one of the nights that he wanted to have, but turning the eyes back up front to some of the on-track battles. One of the big ones right now being this big fight down there for second place, for about third place overall. Spanky's still trying to hang on around the inside, while Spencer really trying to work that top line, trying to find any kind of speed he can around that outside line, just not finding the momentum he needs. Behind him, you got Nick Velasquez and Sean Jones trying to go side by side for another spot behind them. But for now, Spencer still trying to pick up third place, and well, it's definitely not looking easy for him, to say the least here. So Spencer might have to try to find a different line to work, because it doesn't seem like that top line is working. It looks like Spanky just a little too secure around that inside. So everybody really spread out across the entire track now, so nobody really trying to go for any big moves. Not a whole lot of big battles on the track. And Brandon Wiley, hold on. Brandon Wiley took a big ride down the front straightaway, popped a huge wheelie, or big wheel standing down. He is down to 10th place, and across and wipes out one of the drivers. And who in the world was that? It was down upside down. That was Spanky, who actually just lost out from third place. He actually broke sideways. Caution is out. Sean Jones drilling through the side of him. And what did the caution come out for? The caution did not come out for that incident. It actually came out for a car that was upside down in turn number 1. And who was the one that flipped on over? It was actually Darren Brown in 11th place, who rolled it over in turn number 1. And this was it was actually really a huge domino effect that began when Spanky got loose on the inside line. As everyone was checking up on the inside to try to avoid him, looking to that replay, Darren Brown got through the back end of one of the cars in front of him. I believe it was Belstrini. That caused Brown to get rear-ended by one of the cars behind him, pushed him into the wall, up and over. He then got collected by another car. So a wild ride there for Brown and a massive, massive domino effect to bring out our second caution of the night. So Ryan Diotti still with that race lead as we are once again under caution. Ryan Winter down in second. So you got Hitman on pole, or on the first place spot, with Winter down in second place. So again, those two Ryans running 1-2. So well, a lot of drivers, definitely having some incidents early on with good 14 drivers only left on the lead lap. And well, if you want to join in on the fun with us here on iRacing.com, well, you can find out how to join, and it's definitely not much. All you got to do is just sign up and well, come on in and join us, because my goodness, you can have a fun time. You can always come along and have some of these very fun league races like this. You of course got the midgets, you got NASCAR, IMSA, touring cars, you got Formula racing, you got IndyCar racing, you got rallycross, pro trucks, midgets, late models, sprint cars. You got just about every kind of racing imaginable. But right now, we are back to Green Flag Race with Ryan Diotti, kicking things off. Once again, throwing it into turn number 1. Still a great jump there from Diotti to lead things off. Winter under threat for second place. 3 wide though for third place, with Spencer trying to muscle out. Hands gets broken sideways and checks up the whole field. That might be a pileup in turn number 3, and the yellow flag flies. So once again, another one of those battles that just ended up dominoing and really just snowballing into a lot of drivers. It looks like Chase Osborne throwing in the towel, but that began when Mark Hansen was hit on the right side by that 26 machine of Cody Spencer. Hansen went down and then rear-ended Nick Velasquez, and then he got rear-ended by Josh Young, whose day has just gone from bad to worse, who was set to come away with the win. And well, unfortunately, it's not going to happen tonight. So unfortunately there for Josh Young, and well, third caution of the main event, 4th for the night in total. And still, both Ryans looking to be in second and first place. So once again, 2 Ryans locking out that the top 2 positions. So it's well, we're coming up now. It's going to be 5 laps to go next time with the line. So we're looking to have a very, shall we say, eventful final few laps of the race. The iRacing official pace truck continues to lead this field around this, again, 4/10 of a mile dirt track. Lights are now out. It will be a 4-lap dash when we get to the line. The question is, will we be able to finish those 4 laps under green? That is going to be one of the key questions here tonight. So Diotti still elected to stay on that top side. And the restarts, last minute change restarts, are single file for this one. So this might cause some confusion amongst the field as they try to get themselves now single filed out. Field checking themselves up, but it's going to be Diotti to jump down low and lead them off to the green. 4 laps to go here at Lernerville. What will be able to make of this one? And it's going to be a huge slide job, and oh, heads up! A huge dive from Ryan Winter, who takes the lead by force. Diotti, nothing he can do about a huge slide job. 3 wide for the lead now through turn number 3, and it's going to be a second lane change on the lap. Cody Spencer out of the front with 3 laps to go. An absolute send from Ryan Winter, who slides it back up and clips Cody Spencer. 4 wide for second place through 1 and 2. Now down to 3 wide. Spencer back up the inside, looking for 2 to go, but it is going to be now. It looks like finally Ryan Winter going to have that spot secured. Down in second place, an absolute dive bomb there that almost didn't end it in complete disaster. So Winter running away with the lead, coming to the white flag, crash over turn 3, but we're going to keep our eyes up here on the leaders. Right on the back end is Diatti. White flag is out. One more lap to go. Diatti beginning to work, trying the outside line. Ryan Winter trying to hug the middle. Here goes Diatti. He's got the run on the outside. They almost made contact. They did make contact. Diatti round the outside. Can he get it pulled up? Big slide up in front of him. Winter makes contact, but Ryan Diatti squeaks away and manages to come away with the victory at the last possible second. An absolutely unbelievable finish to end off a 40-lap feature event. What a way to end the race. My goodness, that was absolutely unbelievable. Holy cow, it does not get much better than that. Let me tell you what, does not get much better than that. Well, while we wait to see if any of these drivers are going to come on in and join us for some post-race interviews, Ryan Diatti coming away with the win today in a last lap pass around Ryan Winter. Just when we thought Diatti would not be able to make anything work. Cody Spencer and Nick Velasquez in 3rd and 4th. Ryan Plexico rounds out the top 5. Bailey Jones will be down in 6th place with Trevor Fitz in 7th. Sean Jones in 8th place with Darian Balestrini in 9th. Rounding out the top 10 for tonight was Mr. Josh Young, your pole sitter, who unfortunately did not have the best of races tonight. 11th place, continuing going down the order, is going to be Camden Robustolini with Brandon Wiley in 12th place, Sean Whitney in 13th, Cody Peters in 14th, Mark Hansen 15th with Ren Johnson in 16th, Kobe Kearns in 17th, Richie Luker in 18th, Danny Davis in 19th with Darren Brown in 20th place. Michael Grenett, aka Spanky, down in 21st place, going down to the cars that did retire. Chase Osborne in 22nd with Michael Leathers in 23rd, and Ryan Martinez rounding out the final position here, 24th for the race tonight. So an absolutely phenomenal main event tonight. It was an absolutely spectacular show all the way through. 5 heat races, each one bringing something new to the table. Of course, then you had that 12 lap, and shall I say, there's no better way to put it, demolition derby of a consolation race. And while it does look like we are going to be having some drivers who are going to be able to come on down and give us a little bit of a word, and well, we're going to kick things off with your race winner for tonight. Ryan Diatti, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. You hear me?
I can indeed. So, well, Ryan, going into that final restart, I think there's no better way to say this. You got absolutely sent coming into turn number 1, and, well, you ended up repaying the favor down in turn 3 and 4 in what was probably one of the most daring last lap passes in the midget I've ever seen out of the 2 years since I've been doing this. Well, how'd you feel throughout that race in those final 4 laps?
I felt pretty, in control, and then, on my restarts, I've been, running the top, coming out of turn 4 to take the green, so I could get a good, entry into 1. And for whatever reason, I decided to switch it up and, exit on the bottom for that last restart, and kind of killed my line. So I decided just to run the top of 1 and 2. On that first lap after the green, and that wasn't a very good choice. So kind of a brain fart on my end, but luckily, still able to pull it off. It's always fun racing with, all these guys we get to race with in real life. Kind of fun to race them on the sim.
Well, it was not just fun for you as a driver. It was fun for me to be able to sit back and watch you guys beat and bang out there. It was, of course, a very great event for you. You got the pole for your heat and then ended up winning your heat race. And you came around, then started 5th for the main event, and then won the main event as well. And well, I think it's safe to say that while things got a little bit messy in the consolation race, the event as a whole, I would say it went off very well. But from start to finish, how do you think you did?
I think we did pretty good. I was watching my black box, and I had 2.5-3 second lead there for that first green flag run. So I just started running the bottom, and then I don't know, I was pretty comfortable running the top of 3 and 4, and that slider line in 1 and 2. So I just kept doing that, and I'm glad the yellow came out to make it interesting. Me, Ryan, and Sean, and Spanky, and all these guys, Mark, we all get to race against each other in real life. So it's fun to see all the same names at the top of the board in the sim.
And well, before we let you go and celebrate your rather close victory tonight, is certainly an intense one. Do you have any sponsors or any drivers you like, or fellow competitors you'd like to shout out for tonight?
I just want to thank Frank and Jan Monroe for sponsoring tonight's broadcast, and Spanky and his family for putting this thing together, and all the admins, and obviously my wife and son for staying off the Wi-Fi for a few minutes while I get to the race.
Well, congratulations then on a very close victory, Mr. Diotti, and thank you for taking the time to join us tonight.
Right on. Thanks for coming out.
And of course, on that note, it looks like it will be time to end things off. Doesn't look like we got anybody else with us tonight. And of course, we would also like to give a big thank you as well to Frank and Jan Monroe on behalf of the frontline works and first responders working on fighting this dreaded COVID-19 virus around the world. Certainly not an easy job, and I guess we can definitely say a huge thank you to Frank and Jan Monroe for helping to support them here tonight. And with that, it is going to be time to end today's race, unfortunately. But, of course, join us tomorrow. We're at the exact same venue for, I believe it's one of the USMTS races at this very venue, actually. So that should be a very fun one, to say the least. And it's going to be time for us to conclude tonight's presentation of the WSDC COVID-19 Invitational. It has been an absolutely thrilling race, and it has been a pleasure to be here tonight. I've been Olin Rampo, bringing you tonight's coverage with Cody Booten behind the cameras. And from the crew here at LSRTV, we will bid you all good night.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.